Hello, beautiful, and welcome back. I am EBINOTTI, and today we are doing the full moon readings. So full moon is currently in Leo. It was about a week and a day ago or so. And it's been a dark moon. It's been a really trying time for people physically. A lot of sleep deprivation or, difficult sleeping patterns. A lot of dreams are going on through the collective right now. And there's a lot of an uneasy feeling because of the lack of sleep, because of the difficulty of that time where we're supposed to be resting, recovering, healing. The body is supposed to be going through that process. And it seems that something is taking the place of that right now. So within the collective, there's a lot of feelings of, underlying or subconscious fear coming up. And I love talking fear with the full moon because the full moon is really about releasing, it's about the illumination, the full illumination of the dark, which is the shadow, the difficulty, the conflict, the ego even is coming into place in a big way. You can see people's arrogance and entitlement and narcissism really just kind of popping off right now. People are popping off. And for the rest of us, we're kind of just sitting here either observing or getting kind of bashed by the waves of, chaos going on within our groups. So there's a lot to be said for the peace and the quiet and the safety and comfort of our homes right now is, to be able to find that safe, quiet space and recover a little bit as best as we can in our waking life, because there's so little, it feels like there's so little of that going on in our sleep time, in our dream state. So to whatever extent we can, we are illuminating our shadow. We are doing shadow work. But the thing that I've been picking up for the collective most recently, especially the feminine collective here at EBINOTTI, the dark feminine who really is the healer, the leader, and the creator, there's this feeling of, I'm calling it shadow manifesting. If you watch the collective video for this moon cycle, the ether element, I'm calling it shadow manifesting because there's something so authentic being brought to the surface when it comes to our desires and who we are and what we want. It's like at any age, there's this reflection happening where once and for all, we are exposing to ourselves who and what we are. And we're coming to this acceptance of it in a way that is new. It feels new. And as a manifester, as somebody who's highly ambitious, I love the feeling because it feels like there's new availability to us in the physical realm through our dream state, through our manifestations, our magic, our power, our sovereignty, our divinity. There's a lot of change going on in terms of how we are settling into our identities now. And isn't the what do you identify with? Isn't that such a topic in our society? So it's not surprising that spiritually, this is what's coming up for the collective of EBINOTTI. Because to manifest is, it gets you out of bed in the morning, gives you ambition, inspiration, something to work towards, something to be excited about. But shadow manifesting is very different. It's not, sitting down and putting together a dream board. Do you know what I mean? Catching that vibe? It's not a crafty glitter and spray paint kind of vibe. It's just not. It's different. It's interactive. It's experiential. In these moments, as we're interacting with people in our workplaces, in our personal lives, we're realizing, boom, just like that, how we're having this clarity of who and what we are and what we want to manifest and how we want to get there. So it's happening very, very quickly, but it's happening in the moment, whether you're triggered and your shadow's coming in, so you're physically doing shadow work in the moment, or if it hit you in a way that later when you're sort of alone in your quiet space, like having a bath or, putting your head down at night, waking up first thing in the morning, you're kind of coming, that thing that you might not have even realized in the moment is kind of coming back up to the surface it changed you. the experiences that we're having right now are changing us, and not necessarily to be different, but to be more of what we've always been. So we've gone a lot of different ways away from our center point, to gain experience, to, you know, stroke some curiosity, whatever. And now we're realizing how much of our center point was always there for us. It was always who we were. And it's sad, but in a lot of ways, it feels like we wasted a lot of time, you know, like I look back on my life, and I'm not trying to be like a Debbie Downer about it, but I look back on my life and I realize like so much distraction. There was so much distraction, so much time wasted, and it's unfortunate. So the lesson here that I want to share to others is, you know, don't chase a thrill when the real thrill is inside you and you just haven't discovered it yet. It's like you're running to somewhere, or even education. Like I ran to the city to get more than education, to get experience and to live a life. But a lot of people run to the city, or, you know, specific colleges, countries, groups of people, places to get a specific type of education. And it's not just the internet. It's like whatever kind of training or study that you'd like to do now, you don't have to go somewhere to do it. And almost the advice is like, you shouldn't go somewhere to do it, because that might not even be all it was hyped up to be. You know, like when I was a kid, I wanted to be a lawyer, and Harvard Law was just kind of like the top of the tops in my mind, right? Like I'm Canadian, so the Western world, right? And even when I realized like, oh, a Canadian can't go to an American school, especially poor, you know, like I'm definitely not affording that. It was McGill, and I was going to go to McGill University, you know, and study law. And at almost 37 years old now, I realized not only would that have been a waste of time, it would have been a waste of money, because nobody can really tell you anymore that you are an expert, that you are certified, that you are degree worthy. Like, what are these licenses? What are these certifications? What are these registrations even about? You know, who is saying that you're at the top of your game? And does that even matter to you anymore? Because it's starting to get to this harsh reality where it's like, don't meet your idols, you know what I mean? Don't meet the people. And I hate that advice. I do. Don't meet your idols. It's like, meet your idols. Tear down those fucking foundations and those pillars that you think somebody's ahead of you. There's nothing wrong with respecting that somebody has more experience than you and you could learn from them. But it's really about taking the responsibility to learn the thing, to become an expert in your opinion. You will always set a higher standard for yourself than somebody else will. And when we've sort of, you know, done a foul swoop across the board and said, this is the certification for law, this is the certification for medicine, and you realize who's writing those textbooks, funding those universities, it's like, oh shit. Like, so I recommend having a strong foundation for who and what you are and what you want to study and what you want to become an expert in, what you want mastery in. Set your own bar for those things, okay? There's nothing wrong with starting in a college. If you went to college, you want to go to college, if that's the big dream, there's nothing wrong with that. Just don't let that be your end game. You know, don't let that be your point of mastery. When Harvard Law says you have a master's degree, you know, don't let that be the end game for you. And definitely don't follow suit on what they think that you should be protecting or prosecuting, defending, okay? So just big messages there about shadow work, manifesting. You know, we're always very ambitious here at EBINOTTI. It's always about, you know, love and money and the things that we want to achieve in our lifetime, the alignment, the activation, the evolution of the feminine. But we got to come to terms with who and what we are first, and let that be something we're okay with. And then learn to love it. You know, like it might be hard for some of us to accept who and what we really are, because we dreamed a dream that had nothing to do with us. You know, it was a dream that was put in front of us by the media or by our culture or by our people, you know, the people that we idolized and looked up to, and they, you know, admired or desired certain things, and we wanted to become those things to impress them. So it's time to really dig out some of those desires about who and what we are. Wow, talk about just channeling it through, guys. That's almost 10 minutes in, and that just came bam out of nowhere. So, oh, crash and burn here, crash and burn. So you please forgive my appearance. It is first thing in the morning. Well, it's actually like 3:30 in the afternoon, but I'm just getting going with my day here. My sleeping patterns have been chaotic, but I'm not currently employed with the man, you know, so I don't have that schedule where I got to set an alarm in the morning. I just don't have to worry about it. I don't have to fucking worry about it. If I'm sleeping till 1 o'clock in the afternoon and my emotions and my spirit and everything is going through it, I just don't have to fucking worry about it. I can judge myself. I can feel all down about it because I can't, you know, people can't get a hold of me on time on their timeline because they're on a schedule that's like very, you know, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. And you know what? I'm just not worrying about it. I'm just not worrying about it. I'm sleeping when I need to sleep. I'm working when I need to work. And I'm just, you know, taking care of myself. And that's a big message. It's time to really shift the perspective of what natural looks like to us. Not what somebody else says is normal or natural for you, but what you feel. The seasons that you feel and how you feel you should be following them. You know, I love structure and I love organization and I love the science of pulling something apart and saying this is how it works or this is how it could be done to the most effective, the most beneficial, you know, level. But at the same time, we are so new, we are so learning, and we just have to allow that. We have to allow that space. An entire generation, our generation, is going to pass before most of this stuff gets sorted out. And that's just a reality, you know, that it's time to face. It's time to face that a lot of the world change that would be like snap your fingers, so quick and easy to fix, is not going to be fixed in our lifetime, because one man to one man can fix a problem very quickly. But when you bring in the world, you know, groups and societies, and it's not one man talking to one man anymore. It's like we have a whole planet here of people that are going to do those negotiations, because corruption and perversion and abuse, you know, that slant, it's just not going to be available anymore. Nobody's putting up with it anymore. Nobody's going to look the other way. Nobody's willing to accept that that's just how it's always been. And it's like, that's fine. You know, if you want to be like that and you want to perpetuate the how it's always been, that's fine. You're just not going to do it at my table. You're not going to do it in my family, at my home, and you're not going to do it with me, because I'm not doing that. You know, I'm not playing that game. I'm not going on that path. I'm not accepting that anymore. And if you want to be in my vicinity, you're going to have to respect who and what I am. So very harsh realities coming in. And I like it. Cheers to you. Coffee. You see it. I just need the coffee so bad. Cheers to you and your morning routine and your happiness and your health and whatever it is that you got going on that's just so you right now. I'm digging it. Oh, and there goes my little pipe. I'm just trying to decide if we're going to have a smoke together before we get into this. And we are, babies. We are. Do you guys want to have a toke together too? I don't know what you smoke, the herbs. You smoking herbs these days or what? I'm just kidding. Anyways, don't mind my nonsense. It's very early. Okay. Excuse me. Let's have a quick puff. Lay in some protection, call in your guides, connect to your ancestors, you know, spiritually. Let's get into alignment together, okay? You don't need any kind of anything to do that. I just like it. Take a nice deep breath. However you like to do that. Okay, my lovelies. So like I said, today we're doing full moon Leo. We are a little bit behind on the full moon cycle here. It's been about a week and a day since the full moon crossed us, and that's totally fine, you know, because we're working with the energy, how and when the time calls and when it's necessary. Again, just not worried about it. I'm not worried about the time. I'm not worried about the calendar. I'm just not worried about it. Okay. But we do have the new moon Aquarius coming up very shortly as we cross into the season of the dragon. And I think it's going to be really interesting the way people feel awakened this spring. You know how after like a winter, I don't know if you get 4 seasons where you are, but we certainly do in northern British Columbia, Canada. But after the winter time and the spring comes and everything melts, it's like, oh, finally. And we just feel this lightness, this brightness, this, you know, influx of fire energy where we're ready to take action, to create. We've got so much more, life force than we do throughout the winter. And where was I going with that? Oh, wait for it. It's just like totally gone. Or going. I can feel it like slipping. But the point is, at this point, if you don't have the energy, understand you're going through a winter season, just like nature, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly natural. Call it like a prep, okay? Get prepped for the next year of harvest, of, seeding, growing, harvesting, and then preparing for yet another winter, because it comes around every year, no matter if you've got your 4 seasons or if you don't. But the feeling that's coming here for the spring, I think is going to be, that's what I was trying to say. I think this spring is going to be a whole lot of new, a whole lot of, even if you don't have 4 seasons, you're going to feel that massive surge that we do up here in the north because it's the season of the dragon. That's what I was trying to tell you. Going into the season of the dragon, like when the Chinese calendar switches and we go into a new animal, it's like it feels significant. Even if we're not following that calendar, there is something cosmologically that does shift, and we all feel it. So as a collective, we get hit with solar energy as a planet, as a collective. We get hit with the era of our sun as a collective. And it's the same with the cosmos. As everything moves and shifts and we go into new eras, like the age of Aquarius, the season of the dragon. You don't have to study the astrology, but it's interesting if you want to tune into the collective to see how everyone's feeling. Why is this spring going to be so different? Well, it's simple. I think there's a massive shift going on the planet where the patriarchy is completely disassembling to reassemble once and for all in balance with his divine feminine. It's time that the masculine and the feminine found their balance and stopped being arch nemesis and started being soulmates, made for each other. We were made for each other, you understand? And there are queens and there are her subjects and there are leaders and their followers, and there's going to be across the board, I just see this huge rejuvenation of our leaders. I see people stepping up into their leadership role, especially in the springtime. I think a lot of people are going to be called to take a leadership role. Never taken a management position, you're about to take one for the first time. Never started something for yourself and ran a crew, about to do that for the first time. Because, I believe great leaders are called, that they don't seek it out, that they're called. And we're at the point now where maybe you have seeked it out because you know that is your calling, and at some point you'll be called. So you've prepared sort of a lifetime. You've spent a lifetime, whether that's 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, preparing to be called for this moment. Ooh. So full moon Leo, we're going to be reading fire. The first element after the ether, the collective reading that we do under the moon cycles, is always the element of the moon. And currently our full moon is in Leo. Good times. So Leo is the polarity to Capricorn, doing a lot, got a lot going on there. And you can have a look at it because the last new moon Capricorn and this full moon Leo, the cross has been real, and there might be a lot there that you need to self-discover, so that you might want to look into that. The next one, new moon, I was gonna say new moon Virgo, dating it, new moon Aquarius, and then we go, full moon Leo, new moon Aquarius are the polarities. Then we're gonna go into full moon Virgo, new moon Pisces, and they're the polarities. I know my polarity of Pisces Virgo very, very well because I'm a Pisces sun, and then Virgo is my polarity. But Aquarius and Leo, like this, eh? And it's funny because my dad's a Leo. My brother, I only have one sibling, an older brother. He's a year older than me. He's Aquarius. So look at the polarities there. Isn't that brilliant? If I look at my own chart and then my family dynamic, it's like, wow. So maybe that's the message for you. Maybe it's time to look at your birth chart and instead of diving into self-help and new workout routines and recipes, all that stuff is lovely in terms of health and balance, but you might want to cast your birth chart. You might want to go to like cafeastrology.com, real simple, super free, but you have to know the time you were born, like the exact time. that you were born. And that's difficult for a lot of us. Like, I don't know the exact time I was born, but I can still cast out the rest of my birth chart and see. But there's a huge chunk of information missing if you don't know what your ascending or your rising sign is. And that's what you need your exact time of birth for. So dig deep on that one if you want to, but you can explore self-help or you can explore self-discovery. And right now I highly recommend the birth chart, the self-discovery, because that's, you know, if you're still searching for what a career is for you or what your passion is or what your purpose is and what you should be doing, there's no better place to start than your birth chart. It's just going to give you a really simple breakdown of who and what you are before you started altering and your willpower came into it. Okay, so your nature and then versus your nurture, which is who and what you are by choice, not by choice. That's the difference, right? Nature, you didn't get to choose. Nurture, that's how you were raised. Choices were made. You went this way and that. You like blue instead of red, etc. I love you guys so much, and I'm so glad to be here with you. I hope that so far, the end of 2023, the winter 2023 season has been very, very good to you. I hope you are being very, very good to you and feeling good about that and feeling in alignment and activated and empowered to evolve based on that, on your own personal alignment. That is the foundation, the spiritual foundation that we create for ourselves, that we can never, ever be pushed off of. We can never be distracted from, except by choice, of course. 21:12 on the clock. I like that. Okay, we're going to get into it. We're going to start like we do with the Crystal Oracle. If you're not new here, then you have seen this deck many, many times. I just love this deck. It's such a powerful energy to start with. Shout out to the reader that I bought that deck from. Sorry, I can't remember her name right now. I don't even know if she does readings and stuff. She just put a post up on a few years ago, getting rid of half of her collection. I went there, I bought the whole collection. I left a couple of decks behind just because I felt bad because it was a public post and I'm sure other people were planning on showing up. One person got there before me and took like one of the decks that I was most excited about, but you know, that's how we do. Timing is everything, and I just believe meant to be, you know. So shout out to the reader that I got a lot of my Oracle decks from. Maybe a tarot deck or two, but I think I bought most of my tarot. No, I do. I definitely have at least 1 or 2 tarot decks from her. Okay. Anywho, enough of my shenanigans. I'm starting to get really warm all of a sudden. Have you noticed the temperature? Your body is like all over the place. I know like hormonally we're just getting totally fucked here, but aside from the hormones, I feel like my body is like reacting to all this stuff. You know how birds like navigate based on magnetic thing? Like we can't see any of the stuff that completely guides their entire life and how they, you know, maneuver, where they go, where they live. That's how it feels. It feels like we are getting blasted with something we cannot see and we do not have a lot of knowledge about, but I can feel it. I can feel it being so invasive, you know, and it's so out of my control that's just like, whoa, constantly getting blasted with these. And my body's just trying to balance out and react. So it goes hot, it goes cold. Like I stay on my routine. Maybe I'm eating good today. Maybe I'm eating comfort food today. Maybe I'm smoking more or drinking more coffee, or, oh, I should have drank more water, or, you know, that kind of thing. But one way or another, it feels that even regardless of my own input of consumption, that the body is being blasted with all kinds of things that's taking it up and taking it down. Like last night, Zach and I, we had these huge bursts of energy and then we would just crash. And then huge bursts of energy and then we would just crash. Kind of the whole day. It was a really slow day. And then come midnight or something, like nighttime, boom, we were both like wired up, awake, ready to fucking get shit done. And when you're renovating and flipping a house and all that kind of stuff, it's like, whoa, way to take on new projects, kiddo, way to take on new projects. So it's been crazy. It's been crazy around here. Just not crazy. Maybe that's not the way to say it, because it feels fucking great. You know, it feels thrilling, exciting, free, and on our timeline. But if you look at it compared to a normal schedule, it's like we're all over the damn place. We're running on the meth schedule or something, you know, I don't know, people that stay up all night, crazy artists, druggies, who else? Musicians. There's a big chipmunk sitting on the branch right outside my window, just chattering. I might open the window a little bit actually at some point here. We'll see. We'll see how smoky it gets in here. I tend to hotbox a room if I'm not careful. Anyways, anywho, I'm just having the most fun with you guys today. Cheers to you. Cheers to your success. Okay, we're gonna shuffle up. I still feel like there's more. The downloads today, we're like 25 minutes in, and the downloads are so real. But we're gonna shuffle and start getting some cards. We can keep going through the downloads. I'm so grateful to all of the energy that surrounds us, all the wisdom and the knowledge that we are guided to. So grateful for that right this very moment, because it blows my mind. Sometimes it really makes me feel like I am just so blessed and so lucky to, to feel and to receive the things that I do. And I hope that you're leaning into that and experiencing that right now as well. And if you're not, just know that that's an untapped resource that you have, is to tap into your energetic connections, throughout the cosmos, the universe, all that exists, all of existence. That you can tap into some knowledge, some wisdom, and just be so whole, and just feel so whole. And given the state of the world and how panicked and, fear-stricken and just chaotic things can be out here right now when you're in your society roles, it's so nice to feel that guidance and that wholeness spiritually right now. So I hope you're getting there. Welcome to the space, because that's what we create here for each other. It's the main thing that we do, is come into alignment together. Okay, come into alignment with the energy of the divine feminine and masculine balance. And it's as simple as that, because we don't mess around when it comes to this spiritual practice. We might laugh, joke, smoke, fucking, and take things lightly when we discuss it, but we're here for a serious reason, and that is about the evolution of the feminine, because it's time, and that's our duty. It's our duty to be part of that evolution in our lifetime if we can, and to hold true to that. The path of service has been coming up for the last month or so, ever since I got back into doing the readings. The path of service has been just a big focus, on what it is that we do. So a message that came through yesterday, I guess this is why we haven't got the cards yet, is if you didn't need the money, okay, like if you're super wealthy tomorrow, how would your path of service change? Like everything that you're building, like I'm building programs, I want to write my second book. I want to finish out that series, nonfiction series that I'm writing, programs for you guys, personal tarot readings, like all the things that I'm doing for money, and it's like, okay, I have these skills, and spiritually I want to give in this way because I feel like I've developed the skills and that's my duty. But on the other side, it's like, this would be a good program that would sell. If the series was completed, I could, turn that path into a career where then I could take care of myself. I could fend for myself, my family. I would have good health, good shelter, all of those things. So it's like, it's honest and it's genuine, and I'm, full disclosure, I'm totally cool with that. But there was something that kind of didn't sit right when it was like, if you're going to do a spiritual path of service and make that a career where you're trying to build wealth in the same realm that you're trying to spiritually pursue the goal, your purpose, your path, it's going to get crossed over sometimes in a way that you don't like. And there's lessons and growth and shadow work to be had there. But I realized that the real dream, like for me, I'll speak for myself just so that maybe you can relate. The real dream for me is to have the wealth to be able to heal and teach and give on the level that I want to give. So even with all the money in the world, I would produce more, not less. I would work harder, not take more days off. You know, like a lot of the taking days off and self-care and nurturing and health and alignment that I focus on in my downtime, I'm actually sad about having that kind of downtime, because what I really wish I had is the resources to produce right now or at that moment. You know, it's like, I wish I had the resources to flip a building. I wish I had the resources to develop housing in my local community. I wish I had the resources to develop businesses, like places to go, things to do, artistic, fun for adults, healthy, you know, things to do in my community, and I don't. And everything is about that same group of people, you know, healing together, growing together, coming together, creating together. But with the resources, I'd be able to do that on the level I actually want to do that. Now, what's interesting about that is I can't do any of those projects without the money, but I also can't work from my station, which is, you know, poverty level. I can't work to become a developer. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if I wanted to be an architect, that's a skill set I have. I could have gone to university for it. I contemplated it at one time. To be an architect, to be the best architect in the world, I still, with my own personal money, even if I went to school, university when I was, you know, 19, 18, after high school, and worked until I was 35, 40, even 45 years old, straight, steady work to become the best in the world. And I became the best in the world, like whatever. I became an amazing, one of the best fucking architects in the world. I still likely, with my salary, if I didn't have any pursuits on the side economically, with my salary as the best architect in the world, I probably wouldn't be able to develop a housing project. Like, that's, you know, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars, because of the way our systems and our society is set up. So I think you're catching what I'm trying to say here, which, look at your own path of service and how much the money that you want to make is affecting your path of service. Because what your real path of service is like, you don't know outside of magic how to develop those kind of resources. You certainly can't do it in a labor job or entry level job, you know, and to work your way up in a corporation, Fortune 500 companies, right? You're still not going to have the type of salary where you'll be wildly successful. You'll have a beautiful home, you know, $1 million home, $5 million home, whatever you like, all the things. You can even buy a business, run a business on the side. But the type of projects I want are community projects. I'm talking about like the infrastructures of our cities and our waterways, and how we, you know, treat our water, and where we put certain resources like dams, hydro dams, industrial natural gas plants, which I'm in Kitimat, BC. And if you know anything about the world of natural gas, where's the biggest project in the world going on for natural gas right now? Here. And still, that workforce is never going to be able to develop the things that I'm trying to develop as a nobody, as a nothing. I'm not the world's greatest architect. I'm not a state's attorney. I'm a fucking tarot reader on YouTube. So do you see what I'm saying? It's like, there is a type of magic now. This is the shadow manifesting, because this is the authentic desire, and it is so unreachable and so unattainable in the world of corporate America, in the American dream, in the school system, in the political system, in the religious factions. There's just nothing there that's going to allow my dream to be achieved. And I'm assuming, because you're EBINOTTI and you're here, that you've got one of those too. So it's time to really dig deep. Even, it doesn't have to be like that, right? Like, a lot of people care about their communities and they're like, I don't want to develop a housing project. I don't want to, you know, and that's fine. Do your thing on your level. Maybe yours is way bigger than mine, because mine's not that big. It's a little tiny town. I just want to build like a little village that we're all happy to live in, and we can like grow food, and like everything is not polluted, and like that's it. Just a good life to raise kids and raise families, and to be good people, and to heal, and to, you know. But whatever it is for you, it's time to really dig deep, get that authentic desire up and out of there so you can have a good look at it. It's time to pull it out and look at it. Write it down or whatever you got to do, but look at it. Because You can't keep going in the direction of something for the money, thinking that that's part of the spiritual mission. These things need to be wildly separated right now. I'm not saying don't make your spiritual practice the way that you live your life and fair trade and all of those things. That's a beautiful, beautiful focus. But be authentic about desires that you have that are way fucking bigger than just the little chump change that you're able to make with your creations. It's time for us to collaborate now, because that kind of wealth is going to be built, you know what I mean, from the ground up. It's going to be a bunch of us coming together with all the things that we need, creating massive projects that we can hardly fathom on our own. Okay, it's time, it really is time to bring it all together, you know, and to not let anything be too big. You know, if anyone in the history of mankind has done anything similar to what you want, it's possible. And if not, then you're even more interesting to me and to the collective, okay? Because now you're imagining things that have never been done. A true inventor. Where are my inventors at? You know, there's a nerdy group of people that does not get enough credit, okay? And yet we all admire Tesla. We all know his name. And Elon, the latest and greatest. You know what I'm saying? I love you guys so much. Okay, thank you for just letting me be me here, for tuning in and for being you here. I appreciate you. Oh, those are cards. I appreciate you so much just for being you. Ooh, her to write on the bottom with evolution. The Evo of the Lucian. And I'm so grateful for this message, because the goal is for the species to survive. You know, the goal is, it's a really simple thing when you get to mortality and facing the fact that you're going to die one day. You know, it's so like scary out there all by yourself, but the foundation of your spiritual being will always be about the greater good. And once you can really get your physical, human, tiny, petty ass little self into that higher self vibration, this comes very easily. Okay, it took me years. This comes very easily. She said, I heard my shadow step up like, bitch, the shit that we have been through. And ain't that the fucking truth, mama? Ain't that the truth? But here, evolution is easy once you scare the shit out of yourself enough times to really understand this shit is not permanent. You are not permanent. One day you're going to fuck up, or your time's going to come and it's going to be like, boom, time's up, baby. And that's it. But holding on to the species, the evolution, the longevity, your part becomes way bigger. It's like your own insignificance is what becomes your significance in the end. God, I hope that works for you. Fluorite. Where's my fluorite at? I don't know. It's around here somewhere. I love this stone. It's a beautiful stone and it's very powerful. Self-discipline, that's one way to look at it, okay? Spiritually, this is the alignment. This is the authentic shadow and all desire. Come to manifestation. Self-discipline is walking the walk, talking the talk, being the being. Do you understand? It is, there's no, you will die on this hill now because there's no way else to be. It's like I've gotten to this point now where even if I didn't want to be what I am anymore, there's no change in it. You know, it's like we're here now. We're here now. Self-discipline is accepting and taking action based on who and what you are now. The dream is yours. It's who and what you are now, and there's no getting off of that. You know, self-discipline is bravery. Self-discipline is courage. It's the strength needed to take the risk, to trust in yourself, to have faith in your path, in your connection. Oh, petrified wood with beginnings. Wow. So full moon Leo, we're reading for fire. I am not surprised to see a big beginning starting for the collective. Now, what's interesting about this energy is I'm feeling this for you more than I am for me. I'm part of this collective. You're part of this collective. I set the intention that we, as the unit that moves together, are reading together. And this is your beginning, not mine. I feel this for myself as a supportive role, but for you, I feel this as something brand new. And I would love to be there to support whatever you want to start that you've been so scared to start. Like what is holding you back? Because trust me, I've been there holding myself back based on one fear or another. And that's where the self-discipline comes in. You know, if you can't do it yourself, then you reach out to the right person. They give you the little pep talk, you know, little, it's not little at all. It's the thing you needed. They give it to you. You know well enough to ask for the help, to ask for the assurance, the validation, the pep talk, so you can move forward in that step. And this is a big step. So the collective is moving forward and taking a big step forward here, starting something brand new, deciding. There's a big decision being made here. I want to jump right into the tarot. I don't think we need any more oracle cards on that. Wow, there's a lot of energy coming off of this. Damn, I just keep dropping things on the ground today. This would be one of those days, I suppose. Okay, enough about me. Let's see. Did I just mess up the lighting like so bad? It's probably going to get darker. Please forgive the lighting, blah, blah, blah today, because there's a lot to figure out to get it all bang on, you know? Bang on. Okay, we're going to step into the Crow Tarot today. I'm just in the mood. I'm just in the mood for a classic deck. This is one of my classic decks if you've been here for a while. And I want to see what this new beginning is all about. Fire element. It's about our passions, our thrills, our excitement, our life force energy, all that power. Solar plexus is the chakra. When it comes to fire, full moon is in Leo. New moon coming here is Aquarius. And like I said, we're crossing into that dragon season, the season of the dragon. And it's going to be interesting because there's a lot of fire energy coming with that. And also air, the wisdom, the big beastly flyers of the skies, you know, they own the skies, the dragons did. And there's going to be a lot to learn, you know. Oh my God, historically, if you love history, like I love history, it's going to be really interesting to see all the things that could you imagine, maybe you're not on this drive, but I'm assuming you are since you're here, but could you imagine if the Vatican archives that are locked down and nobody's allowed in there, could you imagine if those were exposed in our lifetime? Could you like imagine though? Who has the right to hoard knowledge on the planet? Like who said they could do that? You know? Like, I own it. I'm gonna burn all the books. Like, what? The fuck you are? The fuck you are. So it'd be very interesting to see all the knowledge that comes out here. A lot of messages. I'm just thinking which ones are worth saying here. The next year or two is going to be interesting. The next 10 years is going to be interesting. The next 25 years is going to be interesting. And those are the big chunky download messages that come through. Those are the time frames that stick out. You know, the next year or two, significant. 10 years, significant. 25, significant. But the next year or two is the beginning. The beginning. Especially for you. So let's see what it's about. One more shuffle here. Nice deep breath. All right, my loves. Let's see what we got here for the collective. Oh, the Four of Pentacles again. We saw this in the collective, the ether element for the full moon, and I'm not surprised. Okay, so getting into the fire element, we're going to see the Four of Pentacles as a starter, bottom of the deck to get us started. I mean, it's that sticky energy we were picking up yesterday. There's a little bit of a stubbornness, okay? And it's fine. It's fine. The stubborn, you know, some of us move very quickly. We pick up on this quickly. And others of us, it's a little bit more fearful. It's a little bit more sticky, to say the least. Eight of Cups coming out as our first card. But that's the thing. When it comes to spirit quests and walking away from 8 full cups of achievement, of desire, of authenticity, really and truly, It's because the new moon energy has come and we have changed. We have heard a calling. We have felt a connection, and we are willing to risk everything else we worked for to move in that direction. It is fucking authentic, and it's scary, and it's shadowy. So a new beginning, really, there's going to be some big pivots out here. Not surprised. You know, a lot of us have done this many, many times in our lifetime, but not everybody lived as an outcast. You understand? Not everybody lived as, you know, the type of person who always does the unpredictable. A lot of people they fit in, and they learn to fit in, to adapt, to move with society. You know, even if they kept their individuality and their self-respect and their dignity, they still learn to cope, you know, to be a good citizen. And that's a beautiful thing, but it's also very scary now when it's time for them to, for the first time, cause a little bit of a you know, ruckus when they're being authentic enough to say, I'm going to go in a direction you might not understand. And it's the first time, you know, and us as, you know, mature, advanced rebels out here, can really support those types, can really support the people who are doing this for the first time in, you know, in their adventures. And because this is an adventure, you know, there are people now, you or whichever one you are, if you're doing this and it's your first time, or if, you know, you know that there's somebody doing something in your life, like in your circles, and you can be the supportive one. So whichever side of the fence you're on, as a collective, we are diverse, you know. And for me, myself, like, I've always been a rebel, so I find it, you know, not easy. I'm not going to say easy, but I recognize the feeling of the pivot and the direction change. And I'm always, you know, just find my peace with it, because that's the only way I've ever moved. But death is terrifying to most people. And second card out, the transformation of leaving something behind as so significant as the identity you've always had, you know, like you've always been the responsible one. You've always been the blah, blah, blah one. And now it's time to do something crazy. Like, collective, you know what it's like to do this shit for the first time. Support the people in your life who are doing this shit for the first time, because it's difficult. And if you are the one doing this for the first time, be brave, my love. Be so brave, because it's nothing but beautiful new beginnings for you from here on out. It's scary and all of that, but it's so protected. You know, could the message be any clearer that an absolutely fated, destined, aligned new beginning is coming in for you? And it would be very difficult to avoid it, even if you've spent a lifetime prepping for this, and you won't know that until you're on the other side of it. There are some of us who did it that way too, you know. It's like, in our mind, we were so sure all the way, and then when we did make big decisions to change course and be unpredictable, and part of us died and was reborn, and we are on the other side of it, we realized, damn, I was prepping for that all my life. I would have never said it before it happened, but all my life I prepped for that, and all my life I knew I was going to do that. Even though I never consciously in my waking life knew I was going to do that, something in my spirit, my subconscious, you know, was telling me all my life, I'm going to end up in this place. I'm going to do this thing. It happens that way. And, you know, the collective is going through a huge shift right now. So be the supportive one. If you're experienced, I do not envy those of you doing this for the very first time. But, you know, we all have our turn. Big cards today. Central energy. The Hanged Man. Major Arcana 12. Considering death is 13 major arcana, and now we're going back to the Hanged Man, it's like, this is the full circle lesson. This is the moment of enlightenment after a massive, you know, more than just a tower, divine intervention, a massive change of who and what you are. This solidifies the change now, because the enlightenment finally comes in. The message is very, very simple. On the other side of this, you will understand. It will all come together for you. But in the process of making a change, you can have nothing but faith. And I know it's hard to hear that sometimes. Trust me, I love to seek out answers and wisdom and elders and people with experience to tell me exactly what I can expect, but it almost never goes that way. Either way, it comforts me. It comforts me to give me the bravery, because I know myself well enough to know who to ask, to know what I need to hear, and I will seek it out. But one way or another, you're walking the path alone. You came in alone, you go out alone. You know, I know you get that. So in the end, this path to enlightenment is yours and yours alone. You will walk it alone, but you have so much support, not just from the physical, from the ethers, from your spirit guides, your ancestors, etc. Okay, let's keep it rolling here. It's getting dark. Sorry about the lighting. I'll work it out, though. I'll work it out. As long as you can still see me, you can see the cards good. It's not going to be the most exciting visual you ever saw on YouTube, but that's okay. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. I absolutely do the best I can, even when I'm impatient and strung out or whatever, you know? It's like I do the best I can, and I am fucking cool with that. Fourth card out. Card number 4, the 4 of Swords, the 4 of Air. You know, the healing period that will come, whether it's now, because a lot of us, it's now. And the message is very simple. Just please lean into it. Lean into the healing. Accept that you need time to reflect, to recover, and to just realign a little bit. There's a little bit of a realignment coming in here, because I feel like there is a big risk of injury if we are not taking the time. And it's so funny because you can like will an injury. Do you know what I mean? Like some people, they hate their job so much, they'll like hurt themselves so they can go on like workers' comp or something, right? It happens. It's happened. It happens. People do it. But other people, they're like a little bit cowardly and they don't want to do that. And it's not like they're like trying to trip on the way out the door. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about actually subconsciously setting up the desire to never have to go to work again and then getting hurt. Somebody T-bones you. Do you think for 1 second that you didn't fucking do that? Like that's insanity to me. I've always seen that. To me is not magic. I mean, it is. It's magic, but it's not magic. Magic is just like misunderstood science. Like we don't get it yet. I fucking get it. Law of attraction. That is very simple. You willed that. Without willing that, you begged the fucking universe to make you never have to go to this fucking job again, instead of willing a job you actually want to go to. That's this kind of reflection and recovery. It's like you need to align truly to what the dream is, because if you don't, the real, like you see the swords on the wall and shit, you don't want to be tripping and falling and fainting and stuff like that around those kind of sharp edges. You just don't. You're gonna hurt yourself. You're going to get hurt. You're going to wake up and you have a cut on your face. Forever now. Forever now. You see what I'm saying? So there's a lot of risk right now for permanent disfigurement of the spirit, the physical, all of that, based on lack of willingness to align to authentic desires. You can be manipulated spiritually. You can be scarred. That's toxic lovers, bad environments, unsafe environments, etc. You don't want to be putting yourself in an unsafe environment just because you don't have the bravery to line up to something brand new. It's just, if you're scared, like, let go and let God. You know, let go and let God. If that's, can you understand that without it being religious? Like, can you understand, let it set the intention of exactly what the fuck you want and then keep moving forward in faith, in alignment, like let go and let God? Can you? Like, it's not about God so much as it is about your own capabilities here. Like, please allow yourself to impress yourself just like once. And I know, trust me, as a feminine, I know how hard it is to feel that alignment. So fully supporting the feminines to get aligned to exactly what they need. 5th card out. 4th card out, 4 of Swords. 5th card out, 5 of Cups. Like, first clarifier under the 8 of Cups is going to be the 6 of Pentacles. We'll get into that in a second. Second clarifier out under the Death card is going to be the 2 of Pentacles. Like I said, Decisions to be made here, my friends. Decisions to be made. Okay, let's take it back to finish out the 5-card spread. Five Pentacles is funny because we're about to talk Pentacles. But the 5 of Water, I mean, when you have, we started with the 8 of Cups and we're finishing with the 5 of Cups, which is sort of similar energy. It's like you can grieve the loss of anything that you choose to leave behind. Or you can master the self and understand that sometimes, love it or lose it, love it or hate it, things are not meant to be in your alignment anymore because you have aligned. The amazing thing about the 5 of Cups, you spill 3 cups and you can cry over the spilt milk, the rainwater, whatever you want to value in those cups, okay? Sparkling fucking gold. But what you've really done is kicked over 3 cups that no longer serve you for the alignment of the soulmate energy behind you. You need to turn around. So the river actually goes in a big circle here, and you're standing at the river's edge, kicking over and spilling into the river of time, the old cups, so that you can pick up and move now across the river to go back out with your 2 cups of offering, of real, authentic alignment. You know, and that's the key. It's when you align to your true spiritual path, there's a lot of things that you're going to lose. A lot, you know, but the loss is the lesson. It's like the hard lesson, you know, from father to son, from mother to daughter. It's the hard lesson. It's the tough love, but it's absolutely your journey, your choices. So first clarifying this 8 of Cups, 6 of Pentacles, the balance, the generosity, the equal give and take of the soulmates, like the true balance of the soulmates is what you are seeking. The true wealth, the true level to which you want to give and receive, especially physical coins, money, that's what leads so many of us. It's either the money that we're seeking for the love or the love that we're seeking with the money. Either way, these things go hand in hand because it's what we need to survive. Money is about shelter, comfort, health. You know, love is about comfort, healing, creating, you know, life force energy, etc. So you can't have one without the other here. And that the simple message here, and it's the only message you need to hear out of this part, is when you choose to go in a direction, really choose it. Don't be in denial about it. Don't pretend that it's not for a specific reason, because we never really pretend to ourselves as much as we think we do. Sometimes we need to hear someone else say the word so that we can realize, like, that's exactly what I was thinking and that's exactly why I did it. And it's like, damn, how did you even call me out and expose me like that when I barely realized in the moment that's why I did it? It's because you did realize in the moment why you did it. You made the choice, and you might not have had to think it through very hard because it's been a lifetime. It's been a lifetime of building up with these skills, with these desires to get to this point. And that's how this feels. That's why that's sort of in our past energy, because a lot of us at EBINOTTI have been through that, taking that spirit quest and being that brave. And the message here is some of us haven't, and it's brand new. So that kind of awakening, you know, the death and rebirth cycle, it can only come from choice. 2 of Pentacles. It can only come from soulmate energy, High Priestess, the ultimate knowing of the feminine, of what our priorities are. This one over this one, ask me why. And I'll tell you what I've been through, and I'll tell you who I am and why. Because this had to die. Because I dreamed of this, because I know this, because I feel this. And there's so many ways that we can describe who and what we are. I highly recommend you start expressing yourself artistically, creatively, vocally, however the fuck you want to express yourself. Believe me when I say it's going to be the #1 thing that people want to consume in terms of content is authentic content. Content made by real people about the real things that they feel. Oh God. It's so down there. So down there. Central energy. 3 of Pentacles under the Hanged Man. So all of our clarifiers so far have been Pentacles. It's been about the money. And fuck yeah, you know, because when it comes to fire, the thing that motivates us most is our desire to build stability, wealth, abundance, strong stability. Our shelters are strong. We own them. You know, no one can take that from you, the land. So here we're collaborating, okay? And the big message is to be able to collaborate with your authentic tribe now, you're gonna have to evolve. You're gonna have to allow this enlightenment to come in, because a lot of your tribe is way the fuck ahead of you. You're gonna be the green one. And maybe, you know, in your communities, you've been the one that's really ahead of the curve, like sort of pioneering all of these things and doing things that people are like, oh my God, you know, they're so brave. I can't believe like they're doing all of these things. But for you, when you actually step into your group of people, you're going to be way behind. These people are way the fuck ahead of you. They have so much knowledge, so much, and they see you as themselves when they started out. So you go from master to student overnight and expect the student to go to master overnight. Okay, that's where the ego gets involved. That's why this is a full moon reading, because there will always be shadow to that. There will always be shadow. I was watching Star Wars with Babe. He like wanted me to watch the whole series, so I did. And Yoda said something so interesting, that the true burden of a master is to be outdone, outgrown by their protege. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. It's like, that's the true burden of the parent, is to be evolved, surpassed. And the master, it's the same thing. A master is only a master until he teaches a student. And the student, if the master taught well and the student received it, the student should always outperform, outgrow the master and become the new master to pass on. That's evolution. When it improves every time it's passed on. You notice how everything that they make in modern society depreciates every time it's passed on? Like the more you use it, the more it breaks down. As opposed to, how crazy would it be? The more you use your vacuum, the stronger it got. That's the concept of sharing amongst each other, is that when we connect and we pass things on, they get stronger when they evolve. They don't depreciate. Our genetics, if you look around at all the people in your generation that had children, look at it. Did the generation appreciate the genes or depreciate the genes? This is a very big question. There's a lot to learn about things like blood and genetics. No surprise that we have more pentacles here, clarifying our Four of Swords, the Seven of Pentacles. We'll get into that. And our final clarifier under the Five of Cups is going to be the King of Swords. Again, we saw this energy starting us off. Yeah, starting us off for the ether element, and it's going to be finishing us off. Full moon Leo for the fire element. So King of Swords, big mental mastery here, because what is self-discipline? Understanding the self well enough to know what's needed. Understanding is needed here as well. Understanding well enough to leave behind. I guess we're clarifying this one first. Clarifying the Five of Cups, our King of Swords. When you really look at it, what is more brave, what is more mastered, you know, what is more masculine than taking action regardless of the emotions? Even though it hurts, we do what's right. Even though it's hard, we do what's right. Even though it breaks my fucking heart, I know I'm going. I know I'm going. I know I'm taking this direction. I know I'm starting this thing. I know I'm doing it alone. Or I know I'm doing it this way. There's heavy is the head that wears the crown, baby. And the King of Swords, the Queen of Swords, they know it's a knowledge thing. It's an understanding thing. And they only speak when absolutely necessary. So I like this energy because it really is speaking on going into Aquarius season, which, like I said at the beginning of this reading, the next readings are going to be for the new moon Aquarius. It'll be very interesting to see how that energy plays out for us all. Let's step back once here and go into the Four of Swords, clarified by the Seven of Pentacles. Pentacles, 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 baby, those coins. Let's talk about home. Let's talk about health, like our shelter, our money, all of the things that are most important in this life. It's going to be interesting when you start really slowing down, getting into your mental space, through your heart space, realizing what is of value to you, how much work you have done, and how little there is to do to build wealth in that realm, that arena now, because the arenas are evolving. The ways that we acquire money are evolving in a big way, and we are a big part of that. So really get deep into your spiritual realms, into your power or your magics, however you want to look at that. Philosophies. I got a girlfriend who loves documents, She fucking will go through the fucking documents for us all, I swear. She's, you know, if I had all the money in the world, I'd put her in the Vatican Library and I'd tell her to call me once a month, you know, or keep producing the content, because there are some people there, the documents are going to be the way to go. In the end, though, it's time to really tap into our authentic powers so that we can really see the type of work that we've done and appreciate it. Nobody's going to depreciate our value, our work anymore. Side by side here, we've got as clarifiers, the 7 and the 3 of Pentacles. Baby, you know that's the 10 of Pentacles. Just call in your fucking name right now. Home, hearth, community, the whole village is fucking eating, singing, and dancing in this energy, even if we can only feel it in the spiritual realm, even if it's only in our dream state and it hasn't come into our waking life yet. It's time to really see and align to that. Okay, last but not least, the bottom of the deck, we've got the 4 of Wands, the 4 of Fire. I love that this finishes us off. What do we start with on the bottom? The 4 of Pentacles. Look at that. 444, baby. So, full moon Leo, fire element. The big messages from fear to foundation. This is what spiritual practice really is the discipline. And discipline only comes with practice. So if you didn't have anyone to teach you, you didn't have anyone to give you that spiritual foundation, that's what we're doing here together now. We're building it together, solidifying 4 corners that build a stable foundation for a new home, a new venue, a new housing facility like I want to do. You always need the 4 corners. So from the 3, central energy, from the 3, Major Arcana 12, 3. Do you see the 3-3? Good. We build from the pyramid, the 3, the original collaborators, into the 4, the full 4-cornered foundation of whatever it is that's coming next for us. A lot of us are building in different ways. We all have different unique dreams. Hit me up if you think our dreams align. Super down to have those conversations, but it's time to really trust the self, to be brave enough to communicate and express the self so that others, like a beacon, can fucking hear your call when it's time to put yourself out there, call others to action, bring each other together. There's going to be a massive amount of shifting going on around you right now, so stay grounded in that energy. Remember, one of the big messages in the first set of forward energy here is rest, reflection, and recovery. So please take the time to heal, because we need you at your best right now. Even if you feel like you're shitting all over yourself, you feel like you ain't mastered a damn thing, let others build you up, because you are doing your best. You have worked your ass off. You are a fucking master, and it's only a matter of time, especially with Aquarius season coming. The age of Aquarius is here. It's only a matter of time before the true masters, leaders, emperors are exposed. We're going to leave that one right there. An hour and 8 minutes in, we're definitely going to leave that one right there. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you got everything you needed out of this reading. Please like, share, comment, subscribe so that the videos can circulate to a larger audience. We can call in more of our tribe that way. Share this with a friend if you think that they would enjoy the message. I love you so much. Mwah! I will see you on the rest of the elementals.